So we are back with the live stream. I know it's been a while since we actually jumped in with a live show just because things have been materializing at a rapid breakneck speed pace here at the Marks household, like whether it's with work or with the kids, just been a whole bunch, but definitely have some updates for you guys tonight and want to answer as many questions as humanly possible. So if you have questions, please make sure you drop them in the comments. Tag your people if you're watching on YouTube or on X. Tag your people, let them know to pull up. I was thinking about bringing some wings, but I'm gonna take it easy on y'all tonight. I'm not gonna be like do the slobbery eating all online here, but it is what it is. So most likely you are heading into your fantasy basketball playoffs, and we're going to make sure we give you as much value as humanly possible. This is my man, All Bets Off 905 in the building. What's good, my guy? He says, is Jalen Tyson worth holding on to? I'll start by saying that I am like Method Man and Redman high on Jalen Tyson, right? I almost feel like, there's so many Jalen's in the NBA this year, right? Not this year, like over the last few years. Like there's just a lot of Jalen's. There's a lot of Jalen's. And this year with the ascension of Jalen Tyson, it's been worth noting that, there are more Jalen's to come. So to answer your question, is he worth holding on to? So there's a lot that goes into that, right? For me, I believe in holding on to the players that are providing the production when you need them. If Jalen Tyson is the worst player on your fantasy basketball team and you are down by 100 points in the fantasy playoffs, there's no benefit to holding on to him if you need to fill that slot with a player who is, going to give you something when he's not playing. So sometimes in the fantasy basketball playoffs, streaming is more valuable than holding on to players. So for me, is he worth holding on to? Yes, for now. Monday, if you're starting your fantasy basketball playoffs tomorrow, which most of us should be in the playoffs tomorrow or have been in it next week. If not, like talk to your league commissioner for next season. Start your fantasy basketball playoffs earlier. We want to finish fantasy basketball at the latest by the end of March. You don't want to go into April with this stuff, right? Because that's when silly season gets even more silly. So for Jalen Tyson, I'm holding early on in the week. If things get dicey and you fall behind and you need to cut and trim the fat, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. Thank you so much for the question, my man. Drop another one if you have one. This one, I like this one. Big shout out to my man, Greg. What up, Greg? Yeah. He says DeMarco Rosen. I think he's talking about DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan has been one of my favorite players for fantasy basketball for years. Like this guy has been a staple of my roster because I knew I could get him later in drafts and he would be super consistent. We are starting to see some major regression from DeMar DeRozan. However, it's worth noting that DeMar DeRozan is as consistent gets in terms of health and availability. Your man has played 61 games. Can we like honor that? Can we get an air horn for DeMar DeRozan and the 61 games that he's played? Like DeMar DeRozan has played 61 games. Like I'm not dropping DeMar DeRozan. And I understand, like, hey, if you're in a shallow league, let's say you have an 8-team league or a 6-team league, something like that, maybe the question of dropping DeMar DeRozan might come to the surface, and that's something we'd be thinking about. But if you are in a 12-team league and you're going into the playoffs, a guy who's averaging 18.4 points per game, yes, 3 rebounds per game, 3.9 assists, 1.1 steals, not bad. only 1.1 turnovers per game, the availability for me is too appealing to be dropping him. He's currently right now, according to hashtag basketball's points league rankings, number 86. So he's a top 100 player. I'm not dropping DeMar DeRozan. I'm holding. Really quick, I want to give a rest in peace shout out to Oliver Grant, aka Power. He is one of the executive producers from the Wu-Tang Clan, one of the founders of the Wu-Tang Clan, put a lot of money and time and blood, sweat, and tears to help build up Wu-Tang to be one of the, if not the most influential hip-hop groups in history, in music history. That's why we have on the Wu-Tang hat tonight. So we just wanted to take time to honor, Oliver Grant, aka Power. So rest in peace, Power. Next question. Oh, not even a question. This one's a statement. My man says, "You're a legend, my guy." No, you a legend, my guy. You are a legend. That's my man. All bets off. 90-95. Let's go ahead and hit a laser for my man there. Oh, we can give a better laser than that. Give him a record scratch, too. Give him a record scratch. Is my record scratch not working? It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Just trying to do what I do, man. Just trying to do what I do. Thank you, all bets. This one is from Angel. Is it best to face Jokic in 1 or 2 rounds of playoffs? Is it best? It's not best to face the Joker at all. Now, I know the Joker has 1 week of the playoffs where he's only playing 2 games, so that will help you. But the Joker is the number 1 player in fantasy basketball. We do these top 50 episodes, top 50 fantasy basketball players, and for the last, I want to say, every episode that we've done this season, he's been number 1. Your man is averaging 28.7 points per game, 12.6 rebounds, 10.5 assists, 1.4 steals, 0.7 blocks. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane, the amount of production you're getting from him. So I don't want to face him at all. And in his 2 games for points leagues, for his 2 games, he might get you 200 points. Most players in 2 games can't get you 40. Like, I don't want to face him at all. Next up, this one is from Frank Nitty. He says, should I keep Queen? I would hold Queen. I think they have more, reason to play him than to sit him, right? It's not like, if they're playing Zion, they're going to play Queen, right? If they're testing out DeJounte Murray, they're going to play Queen. Like, for me, I love Derek Queen, and I think down the stretch he'll have some value. So I would definitely hold on to him. This one is from Greg. He says, I'm in a 12-minute leave. You leaving in 12 minutes? Huh? Why? What? You in a 12-minute leave? You good, my guy? You good? Okay. You in a 12-minute leave? Nah, you mean a 12-team league. Okay, thanks for the context, my guy. Appreciate you. This is good. Now we get some Wu-Tang questions. I didn't expect this, but I'll take it. Oh, man. Again, rest in peace. And one of the reasons that I wanted to jump on a live stream tonight, because, again, we haven't done a live stream in a number of weeks because it's a lot happening. It's a lot happening at the Marks household. It's a lot happening in the world, in life. It's a lot happening with the channel and network. But I'm going to answer this, and I'll give you guys more updates in a minute. So what's my favorite Wu-Tang solo album? Like clear, hands down. Like, not like there's not this is a tier above everything else. For me, it would have to be Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Links, the first, the Purple Tape. Like, that album, I listen to it to this day. Like, it is so good. And it was the quintessential Wu-Tang solo album because there were so many features, and it was just like, it has so many classic records. We got Ice Cream was on that album. Incarcerated Scarfaces is on that album. Glaciers of Ice is on that album. like Criminology is on the album. That's mad singles from that joint. So and then you have some like album tracks that are just like crazy, you know what I'm saying? So that's my favorite Wu-Tang solo album. Great question, JS Son 40. Love that, love that, love that. And quickly, a couple updates. If you didn't know, we started a sports podcast network. It's called Your Sports Media. Basically, we're taking local teams and having fans host shows about the team. So we got Your Knicks right now. So if you want to check that out, my man Lefty he's crushing it. Papa Left, he's crushing it over there at the Your Knicks channel. So if you're on YouTube or on Twitter, you can find Papa Left. But please support the show. And also we have Your Mavs that we rolled out. Big shout out to Ethan, the advisor. Clayton, his show is doing really well. And we're going to have more shows come out. So if you're interested, I wanted to share it with you. If you're interested in hosting your own podcast, we are looking for hosts. The most important thing is quality of production. So if you don't have a mic and a camera, please, get that first and then reach out to us. But if you're interested in hosting a podcast, you can holler at us. Next up, this one is from Angel. He says, I meant first or second round. My bad. Oh, it depends on when you start your playoffs, whenever he's playing the 2 games. So I'm not sure which week it is off the top of my head, but one of these weeks he's playing 2 games. So that's the week that I would want to see him if I have to see him. And Angel says, ha, 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 ha. Another quick update. While we're waiting for the next question, I wanted to also let you guys know that Believe in Fantasy just won a Fantasy Sports Writers Association award. It is crazy, yo. Like, I am so grateful for the opportunity. And, we never won anything for any of our sports stuff. Like, we got awards. We got awards for, like, social media and other things that I do. But for this channel, like, we haven't won any awards. So this is the first one. And I'm just super honored and humbled. If you guys don't know the history of the channel, we actually started the channel in 2021 when my brother was ill. You know what I'm saying? So my brother was ill with a heart condition, and he was telling me, Robin, I want to start this gaming channel. I'm going to call it K-Dub Gaming, and I'm going to play video games online. And I was like listening to this dude, I was like thinking to myself, like, he is probably in his last days. He knows that he's really has a serious illness, but he's talking about his dreams. And that tripped me out. I was like, how can you talk about your dreams when you're looking your mortality in the face? Like, how do you do that? So because of these conversations, this is my field. I do marketing and all of that. I'm talking to him about how he can work on his channel, find his ideal audience, all of this stuff. What's his angle going to be? What's his value proposition? And secretly on the side, I went and created this channel, not to be like, oh, my brother's sick, I'm creating a channel. It was more like he inspired me. Him being sick and being like, I want to start a gaming channel I was like, I always wanted to start a fantasy basketball channel, but who's gonna watch? What is it? I've never done that before, and I just did it. So I think the channel, we started the channel in October of 2025, and he passed away in November of 2020. I'm sorry, October 2021, and he passed away in November 2021. He never got to hear about the channel. I never told him about it. But I always tell people when I'm especially when we're doing funny and we're joking and stuff, I feel like my brother's here with us. So for us to win an award for this, it's crazy to me. So I'm I know this is for my brother, you know what I'm saying? Thinking about our journey, but also as for our community too, because it's one thing that we've been adamant about from the beginning is we want to make sure, especially points leagues players, because sometimes points leagues get looked at oh, you guys play points leagues. You're beneath us. And it's this whole pretentious bullshit that happens in the space that I was really annoyed by. And that was one of the reasons that was one of the pillars of our channel was like we wanted to make sure that points leagues players had a place to go. And we always were looked at as kind of the redhead stepchild in the corner, by other formats. You know what I'm saying? So the community, my brother, it's just it's poetic, and I'm grateful for it. But I wanted to share that with you guys that we won that award, and we were up against some heavy hitters. Like in the same category with us was the fantasy footballers. I don't know if you guys play fantasy football, but the fantasy footballers are the number one. I think that the number one fantasy podcast in the world for all sports. Like the number one fantasy outlet, the fantasy footballers. Like they probably don't care. They win other stuff. But for us, for fantasy basketball, I think it's a big deal for the fantasy basketball community. But also I know for us, for the Believe in Fantasy basketball community, it's huge. You know what I'm saying? Because like sometimes like views and like subscribers, people get caught up into all of that stuff. And those are not the metrics that equate to success for me and what I'm trying to do. The metrics that I look for are human connections. Like not how many views did I get on a video, how many downloads did I get for my podcast. The thing that I look for is like how many people reach out with a true human story of how this channel impacted them. Back in 2022, I believe, when we first started the channel, things were really slow. We didn't get a lot of views. People weren't looking. We had a very small subscriber count. And somebody sent me an email because I shared the story about my brother. And it was like, yo, a comment or email. And it was like, yo, I just want to let you know that I'm going through the same thing. I just lost my brother too. And like your channel has been helping me because I know what you've been through. And I was like, dang. So it's not just about fantasy. It's also about human connection. And that's honestly, that's what, is the metric that we look for success. So please support the channel, share, like, comment, all of that stuff. But really, more importantly, just tap in with us. Make sure you're in the community. Visit BelieveInFantasy.com. That's the easiest way to like get closer to us to make sure that we can provide that genuine human connection for you. All right, let me stop. Back to the questions. This one is from Greg. He says, should I keep this player, Kobe White, for week 20? If Kobe White is healthy, he hasn't been performing as well since he's been traded, since he got traded. So, you got to be careful with that. I'd be willing to drop if necessary. Angel says March 9th, and Angel says March 9th in 22 for first matchup. Again, whatever, you can't run from the Joker. If that's what we're still talking about, I think, Angel, that's what you asked, right? You can't run from the Joker. Like, when do you prefer to play him? Are you trying to tank a game so you cannot face somebody? Because if that's the case, don't do that. Like, I never recommend to players to be like, oh, let me try to face a weaker team. That's how you get beat. Huh? Let that sink in. That's how you get beat. So don't duck smoke. Like, people do that all the time. And those are the players that end up with, they have the best team and then they lose to the worst team because they're trying to like do some like finagle in the system. Just go, I don't care who you put in front of me. I don't care what league it is. I don't care how many injuries I have. I'm trying to get the chip. Like, I don't remember the last year. I don't think there's been a year, actually, in my entire time playing fantasy basketball. I've been playing fantasy basketball, I don't know, maybe 8-10 years. I don't know. It's been a while, right? But I don't think there's been a year that I didn't bring home at least one championship. In my two most important leagues, like, I gotta get one of those every year. I think last year I lost both. Big shout out to my man Teal. I think Teal got the double crown. We call it the double crown. He won both of them joints. That hurt. But, one thing I would say is don't duck the smoke. Don't duck the smoke. Yeah, like, championship is the 23rd. Don't duck the smoke. When do you play Joker? Whenever they put him in front of me. Huh? Whenever they put the Joker in front of me, that's when I want to play him. This one is from Isa Dudasi. I'm sorry if I messed up your name, Isa. Is Collier worth a number 7 waiver claim of the season at this point of the season? That's a good one. That is a really good question. So he is one of those silly season all-star type players. Players like Keontae George, players like Lauri Markkanen will get benched, will rest, won't play. Collier is the kind of player that's going to get the minutes while Keontae's out. So for me, I'm assuming you're like in a 12-team league or something like that. A number 7 waiver claim ain't shit soup puppy to me. Ain't nothing to me. I'm spinning that. I'm burning that joint. I'm sorry, especially for a player that might reap the benefits of like the habitual tanking regimen that we see from the Jazz at this point of the season every year. So I would say go for it. What are your thoughts on Giddey? Do you think he gets shut down? So, like, there was a whole lot of hoopla during draft season about Josh Giddey. And I hate to tell you I told you so, but I told you so. I said, be careful with him. Not because I feared he would get shut down, not because I feared that he would only play, a limited amount of games. I think right now he only played 39 games this season. To give you context, Julius Randle has played 60 games. Jalen Brunson has played 55 games. Karl-Anthony Towns has played 56 games. Kevin Durant has played 55 games. You get the picture. Been banged up, producing at a high level, 17.7 points per game. Yes. 8 rebounds per game. Come on. 8.4 assists per game. And there's more. 1 steal per game. So Josh Giddey is a producer. He's putting on. The issue is he hasn't played. And also, we were too high on him. There was an episode that I did about Josh Giddey being a top 10 points league player. Big shout out to my man Josh Lloyd, the GOAT. I give Josh a lot of love and respect. If it wasn't for Josh, I wouldn't have been invited into the inner circle of the fantasy basketball community. So I give him a lot of respect and a lot of love. So big shout out to Josh. Josh said that Giddey was going to be top 10. And I did a video about it that I don't think so. And it wasn't because I don't think he's talented. I just don't think that the stars were going to align. I thought he would be good, but I wouldn't have jumped out the window for that top 10. Where he is now, Josh Giddey is number 30, according to Hashtag Basketball. Do you think he gets shut down? To answer your question, B Parking 8415. I don't think he'll get shut down, but I think he will. There will be some silly season stuff happening. I think there's going to be like, he's not going to play in the fourth quarter. I think that he's not going to play the back-to-back. It's just going to be like, it's going to be stuff that I don't want no parts of. Now I get it. If I got Josh Giddey on my roster, which I do, I have him in one of my dynasty leagues. I think I grabbed him when he was like, not that guy. I held on to him, and it was a good thing that I held on. I'm not dropping him or doing anything crazy. Like if he gets shut down, he gets shut down. You're just gonna have to hold. Like I'm like if you're in a redraft league and you're in the finals of your redraft league, then you got to drop him. But like if I'm in the playoffs, I'm gonna try to hold and just make it through and deal with any challenges that come my way. Take a few more questions. This one is Parkin says, I've been thinking of trading him for maybe Mobley or Chet. Now, that's great. If your trade deadline has not passed, which I would recommend to you guys to set a trade deadline, because sometimes people do crazy collusion stuff at the end of a season when they can still trade. Like when you got like your number 12 team is trying to make a deal with the number 1 team. So be careful. But this I like. I would trade him. Yeah, I would definitely trade him. Now, Mobley or Chet, for points leagues, Chet has been kind of underperforming. So I would probably be looking at Mobley, even though Mobley has been banged up. He's currently ranked at number 24, averaging 17.7 points per game, 8.7 rebounds. He's a really solid player. So I would definitely be open to that. Next up, Byron says... What is happening? Your man Byron. Sometimes I don't even know what to think of y'all. Hold on, cover your ears. Your man Byron dropped the ball. Your man said Is this AI? Is this AI? Yo, that is definitely a first, Byron. I appreciate you. He said, "Is this AI?" Lord, I heard it all. I cannot. I cannot. That is too good. Angel says, "I'm just saying because it's me and my buddies. I have the best leverage to face basically between 2 or 3 teams." Yeah. Listen, I would want to face him on the week that he has 2 games. Then, if that's the case, so and I get it. Don't overthink it, Angel. Like, just listen. Don't duck the smoke, my guy. Like, spank all of them. Hey, yo, just spank them. Hey, yo. Greg says, if you do drop him, who should I go pick up? Greg, you got to remind me. Let me go back and see who is Greg talking about. Kobe White. Oh, that depends who's available on your waiver wire. We just did our waiver wire episode. Excuse me. Maxime Reynaud is somebody we were looking at. We also were looking at Precious Achua. It's a lot of really good players. So, like, listen, guys, this is for all of you. If you're in the playoffs, stop overthinking this bottom tier player stuff. Like, the guys who are at the bottom of your roster, stop overthinking it. Stop falling in love, man. Like, this is not the time to be like, oh, who's a rest of season hole? It ain't no rest of season. It's week to freaking week. All you got is the week ahead of you. Stop looking ahead in the future. Just beat the person that you're facing in convincing fashion. When you feel good about it, start thinking about the next week. So, like, if you're up in a points league by like 300 points on Wednesday or Thursday, maybe you can start picking up some players that can work for the next week. But stop all of this, like, yo, like, who should I get for him? Like, just get the guy that's going to be playing on Monday. Just get the guy who's playing on the day where you need to fill some gaps and some holes on your team. Hey, just stop with this looking in the future crystal ball stuff. Like, we got the week ahead. This is the week that we all have to win or we go home if your playoffs start tomorrow. Like, stop with this, okay? Let's lock in. All right. Read me again. Says, what up, Reed? Man, I'm sorry, man. We've been MIA recently, man, but things have been crazy on this side. But really happy to see you. Really happy to see you. Let's go with Angel again. He says, I told my buddy who has Joker I was trying to set it up to face him in week 1 of playoffs, but I'm just wondering if any is better. Yeah, I think whatever is the 2-game week for the Nuggets, that's what I would do. Should I trade Giannis for Tatum? Oh, Frank. Man, he's making me get nauseous thinking about that one. I don't know how much how much it would benefit the Bucks to play Giannis right now. I don't know, man. I don't know. I almost would say, like, stay away and just stick to what you got just for the energy. Giannis has only played 30 games. I don't know if he's gonna come back. Tatum has been out for a year, and if he comes back, they're gonna have to ramp him up slow. Like, a little bit of Tatum versus no Giannis, maybe. But what if Giannis comes back and he's like, I'm trying to, play? So I would probably just hold Giannis, to be quite honest. I would hold Giannis, to be quite honest. Yo, you hear me out here with these bars? You hear me out here with these bars? Issa says, bet, I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, my guy. All good. Be parking. Thank you, my brother, for being here with us. BD Trey says, I made a lot of trades because they had better schedules during my playoffs. Nice. What do you think about making trades like that? I think that's the way to go. I think that there's 2 sides to that coin, right? There's the side that I'm super prepared, I'm super organized, I know what's coming, and my league mates do not, and they don't even know that I'm trading them the Joker who has 2 games, and they're giving me, a first rounder and 2 second rounders for the Joker who all play 4 games, 5 games in the playoffs, right? The issue with that is The other side of that coin, I should say, is when you have injuries, right? So now you have this player that you traded for. You traded away a really valuable asset that had a crummy fantasy basketball schedule, a playoff schedule, and you got back a player that had a way better schedule, but then they get injured. And then your player, like, especially if you do the trade before the trade deadline, suppose your player gets traded. A good example of this, last year, BD Trey, we had Luka, was with the Mavericks, and the Mavericks had a crummy playoff schedule. So people were drafting Luka saying the same things they're saying about Joker's 2-game schedule in the playoffs. They're like, oh, like, yeah, does that devalue him and Kyrie a little bit because they only have 2 games on this week of the playoffs, so maybe he's not as valuable. So all of this talk was happening in draft season last year about Luka's value being slightly diminished because the Mavericks had a crummy playoff schedule. Then he got traded. So if you made a deal somehow moving your Luka for like a less appealing regular season player, but had a better playoff schedule, then you got burned. So for me, I believe in the fantasy guys. I feel like you drafted these guys for a reason. So I try not to do that too much. There are some times where it does make sense, and it is something I consider when I'm wheeling and dealing. So when I look at a player's profile, I don't just look at their statistics. I also look at their playoff schedule. That's a great question, man. Love that. That could be a whole episode, actually. Man, that was fire. This one is from RT. Oh, whoa, we went political fast. I'm gonna take that off the screen because I want no issues with that. Greg is laughing. Matt Carr. Matt, did you get my voice note? Let me know in the chat, Matt. Did you get my voice note? Because you were the first ever voice note that I ever, distributed on YouTube. Like, we're streaming on X and YouTube tonight, but recently our channel is eligible for us to give video responses. My apologies. Audio voice note responses for our comments. So I got a bunch of comments that I'm kind of behind on YouTube. This is gonna help me to like catch up. So I left you a voice note. Let me know if you got it. Hello, it's 7 says, just drop Sar. I'm a lock for week 1 of playoff. Week 1 of the playoffs, do I drop J-Dub? If you have an IR spot, I would hold these players. If you don't and you need to move, you got to do what you got to do. Me personally, I have J-Dub in the league. I have Sar in the league. I believe both of them are dynasty leagues, so I'm not dropping. In my redraft league, I think I might have one of them. Let me actually pull it up real quick because I'm curious. That's a good question. And I'm going to let you know what I would do. I think in my redraft league, I might have one of those players. I know I got a bunch of injured players. I'm going to just give you some context so you can kind of see what I'm dealing with. So in this league, this is a redraft league, and I don't have either of those players. This is a redraft league, and I don't have either of those players. But I do have Porzingis and Wagner, right? I don't have any other injured players, so I'm fine with them. If you have 1 or 2 IR spots and they're filled up with players that might be coming back, and you have to make tough questions about players like J-Dub and Sar, like, it's okay to drop them. Again, in redrafts, you're playing for this week, guys. Nothing else matters. Like, thinking about, like, oh, should I hold him because what if he comes back in the finals? You might not make it to the finals if you don't win this week. So, like, for me, I think that's totally fine if you believe that you can't get your current roster to the next week if you don't have those slots for streaming. Now, if you got other players that you can drop to stream, I would do that. I would try to, because those two could be the secret weapon that work against you if the wrong player picks them up. So it's kind of like dicey with that, because somebody snatches him up, and then the last thing you want to do is face J-Dub and a healthy Alex Sar in the finals. So make the decision that you think is best for you, but I'm fine with it if you need to. Matt says, who would you drop among these players? Jerome, Prosper, Gigi, or Cason Wallace? 12-team Yahoo Points League. That's a good one. Probably Prosper. I would probably hold Casey Wallace just because like he produces pretty well. Yeah, probably Prosper in that scenario. BD Trey says that's funny because I had traded Ant for J Dub and Franz, and now they're both hurt. Did because the T Wolves have only 2 games for our championship round and they're both hurt. That's what I'm saying. So it's like if we do it too far in advance, sometimes it can come back to hurt us. But there's been times where I did that and it worked really well. I think drafting for that is the same kind of thing that people do. They draft for the playoffs. It's like the players got to be healthy in the playoffs. You got to make the playoffs. So give me the best players, and I'll work it out with the waiver wire. Matt, you got to check out that voice note, man. And guys, make sure you guys are dropping comments because if you drop questions on any of our videos, we're going to do our best in the playoffs to answer every single comment. I repeat, if you ask us questions on any of our recent videos during the playoffs, we're going to do our best to answer every single question. And in most cases, when I respond, I'm going to respond with a voice note. This one is from BD Trey. He said, this is my 3rd year playing fantasy, first ever year having money on the line. I am on an 11-game win streak. That's crazy. With the playoffs in 2 weeks, I give all the credit to your vids, man. That's crazy. That is the best comment of the night. Oh, BD Trey, that warms my heart. Do me a big favor. Shoot me an email at info@believeinfantasy.com. I'm going to put it in the chat. info@believeinfantasy.com. If you have time, BD Trey, that would mean a lot to me if you could just email me your experience and include what you just said there about your experience, about your winning streak. That warms my heart, man. That makes me feel good. I love that. Abraham, what's good? Abraham says, should I move Harden because of his injury? You can try, but I would just be patient with Harden. Just listen to the voicemail. Yeah, Matt, my guy. You are OG, my guy. Like, I think you've been here from year 1, right? Let me know, Matt. I think you've been at least three of the 5 seasons you've been around. So I'm grateful for you, man. Drop Garland or he's coming back. Man, listen. If you need to, you can drop him. But, like, if you got an IR spot, hold him because the last thing you want to do is face Darius Garland in the fantasy finals. So be careful with that one. All right. So we're going to wrap it up. I got to go edit our video. Just wanted, again, rest in peace to Power from Wu-Tang Clan. Also, big shout out to the community for the Fantasy Sports Writers Association Award. Good luck in your fantasy playoffs. And don't forget, any comment you leave in our recent episodes, we will do our best to answer every single comment for your fantasy basketball playoffs. Again, we will do our best to answer every single comment in our most recent episodes. Whatever episode is the most recent one, ask your questions there. We will be on it like a hawk. Big shout out to my man, Ant Tech, who is our community manager for our Discord community. He is also helping me out with some YouTube comments. So one of us will get back to you, and I'll do my best to leave you a really nice voice response. Don't forget, play the waivers, set your lineups, and believe in fantasy.